This program is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
Truth is our dogma. We believe it to be man's greatest weapon against the devil.
A New York man kills his own mother in cold blood. A former WWE wrestling superstar decides to go from man to woe man. And the U.S. sends war-destroying ships into the Taiwan Straits. Coming up next on the T.Y.H. news broadcast. Stay tuned.
There's a time for peace, a time for war. Sell your garment and buy a sword. There's a time for peace, a time for war. Sell your garment and buy a sword.
Cause Russia's headed for war. And China's headed for war. Syria's headed for war. America headed for war. Korea's headed for war. Iran is headed for war.
Welcome to the Take You Heed news broadcast. I'm your host, Chauffeur Tommy, and today we are coming to you with a live broadcast. It's clear cut that the events that take place on a daily basis are showing us that we are indeed living in the final hour. The world's inhabitants are begging for the Most High Supreme, who created all life, to bring forth his fiery judgment by their daily actions. And today, we're going to bring you 3 news stories that clearly show you what we mean. When you look out into the world today, it is clear cut that mankind does not care about how they live on this earth. Wickedness reigns supreme. And in today's segment, we're going to show you just what we mean. Our first story is from a New York man, a 22-year-old brother by the name of Musa Kamara, who had the unadmitted gall to slay his own mother in cold blood. Take a look.
Well, the mother of a 22-year-old man told him to get a job so he could take care of himself. Her son's response? He shot her dead. That's according to police and the victim's brother.
Family and friends huddled in grief at Liman village houses. Fatoumata Denson was a mother of 8. Police say one of her children, Musa Kamara, shot and killed her around 9 this morning. The uncle wants justice.
I want him to go rest of his life in prison.
Danson arrived in New York City more than 25 years ago.
Lovely sister. She kind to the entire family. Let's say kind to everybody. She always smile and laugh.
Today, she was found dead in her 15th floor apartment. According to witnesses, Musa Kamara shot her in the head and ran away. Citizen app video shows the moment police arrested him on 108th Street and Madison Avenue.
He got arrested with the weapon. I don't know the size of what kind of weapon it is, but he got arrested with the weapon.
Family members say Fatoumata had recently pressed her son to find a job, and on several occasions things got heated.
As we see, that young man had the nerve to kill his own mother, who only wanted him to go out and get a job. He was 22 years old, definitely able-bodied, clearly. All his mother wanted him to do was get a job and help out around the house. She was only 39 years old and had 8 children. Therefore, it was clear she may have needed that help. But this young man decided to take it upon himself to end his own mother's life. This story shows you we are definitely living in the end. But let's get a scripture. Let's go to 2 Ezra chapter 5, and we'll pick it up at the 8th verse. And it reads, "There shall be confusion also in many places." It's clear as day that, as we see here, that is confusion. When your own mother asks you to get a job and you get so angry that you decide to take her own life. Other confusion that we see going on in society today, especially in America, is what? You have the liberals versus the Confederates. You had European Americans storm the Capitol building because they wanted to provoke a revolution.
Ma'am? What happened to you?
I got maced.
You got maced?
By the police.
And what happened? You were trying to go inside the Capitol?
Yeah, I made it like a foot inside and they pushed me out and they maced me.
What's your name? Where are you from?
My name is is Elizabeth. I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee.
And why did you want to go in?
We're storming the Capitol. It's a revolution.
Thank you.
Because their dear President Trump had lost, basically almost by landslide in the elections.
President Trump, if you see this, please save us. I don't even see our American flag anymore. Biden's talking with some kind of crazy flag. This is America. This is our land. Please, President Trump. Please, please, I hope you have a plan. But God, please save us.
But it shows you there is indeed confusion in many places. And it says, and the fire shall be often sent out again. We see that the Most High, Yahweh, is sending fires throughout various places in the earth. He burns the West Coast up on the regular basis, from Washington down to California. Now, as we seen last year in Australia, millions of wildlife lost their lives in ravaging fires. Why? Because the prophecies that was written are coming to pass. It says that the fire will be sent out often. But this is what we came here for. It says, and minstrous women shall bring forth monsters. Now, we have to admit, when we think about this particular story right here, we know that that sister had no idea that when she gave birth to Musa Kamara, that he would grow up and at 22 years of age turn around and take her life. He was indeed a monster led by the dragon, Hashatan, or Satan as we know him today. Clear cut, just like the scripture says, minstrous women will bring forth monsters, and it takes a monster to kill his own mother. We're living in a sad day today, and you know that the Most High sees this thing, and he is not happy. But let's get another scripture. Let's go to 2 Timothy chapter 3, and we'll pick it up at the first verse, and it reads, this know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful and unholy, and without natural affection. It's clear as day. This sister asked this young brother to get a job. And was he obedient? No, he was disobedient. And so disobedient that his anger took him over. Satan provided him a demon to go ahead and slay his own mother in cold blood. And how unthankful, as the scripture says, how unthankful was that? That this sister who moved from Gambia in the 90s, near the Sierra Leone aspect in Africa, came from there to seek a better life for her and her children. And how unthankful was he to take her own life, his own mother, at the age of 39. And it says, without natural affection. Natural affection would never allow you to slay your own mother. But again, it just underscores the society that we are living in today. The Most High's word is true indeed. Now, Mr. Musa's uncle stated in the reports that he was a lazy bastard. And obviously he had to be. If you can get so upset when your mother asks you to get a job that you take her life. But his uncle said he wanted him to rot in jail for the rest of his life. But let's see something. The Most High really has another justice system that deserves this punishment right here. Let's read the book of Exodus chapter 21, and we'll pick it up at verse 15, and it reads, he that smites his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. Really, that's the only remedy that needs to be applied in this situation. He doesn't need jail forever. He needs the death penalty. He needs to be sent from his flesh back to the spiritual realm to face the Most High Yahweh. Shows you what we are dealing with today. Take you heed, watch, and pray, for that time is near. Our next story, if you ask me, in my opinion, seems like it comes right out of a horror movie written by Wes Craven. Is that of former WWE wrestling superstar T.Y.H. Here it is. This big 6'5", over 250-pound man decided to leave his manhood and go into womanhood. Take a look.
My life has been full of adventure. I'm a former WWE superstar known as T.Y.H. I'm also the founder of Body Spartan, where my goal was to motivate as many people throughout the world as possible and to inspire them to make lasting change in their life. To never care what people think, to always chase their dreams, their hopes, their desires, and to be their true, authentic self. My name is Gabby Tuft, and I'm transitioning from male to female. And I'm in love with the good life. So I'm sure right now your question is why? Why would a male fitness icon that's 280 pounds and about 8% body fat want to transition to female?
What a sad sin and a complete shame. Again, here it is. This oversized man who was very successful in his wrestling career, who also built a company designed to help other men train themselves and build their bodies up. Here it is. He has decided to leave his manhood that the Most High created him with and go over to the woman's side. What a sad shame. But again, it shows you the times that we are living in, where a fully grown man is wrestling with the lust of the flesh to the point that he feels he shouldn't have been born a man. He really should have been a woman. T.Y.H. said that at the age of 4, he felt that he should have been a woman. He wanted to dress up in his mother's clothing, so on and so forth. A very, very sad thing. But the reason why these things are taking place is this. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 19, and we'll pick it up at verse 14, and it reads, Yahweh has mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to error in every work thereof. I want you to think about that. American society is based off of ancient Egypt, and it's clear cut. Look at the back of your dollar bill. Look at the Washington Monument. Look at Memphis, Tennessee, so on and so forth. There's various examples that shows this society that we live in is indeed based off of ancient Egypt. And it says the Most High calls a perverse spirit in Egypt. And it says in every work, as a drunken man staggers in the vomit. Notice that. There has to be a perverse spirit that is moving throughout this earth and this society in itself that makes a fully grown man want to become a woman. Many men will see T.Y.H. and would love to have his frame. But here it is. He's looking at women and would love to be built like them. It shows you, again, there's a perverse spirit that is going on. But what it's doing is, it's showing you how real the word of the Most High is. The scientists, the religious leaders, the political leaders that all mock and scoff at the Most High's words are looking stupid now, because everything that the Most High prophesied through the Israelite prophets, our forefathers, is coming to pass on this earth as we see today. But let's get another scripture. Let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 14th chapter, and we'll pick it up at verse 22. Now remember, Isaiah 19 says that the Most High allowed a perverse spirit to go into the earth today, especially in modern day Egypt. And that's clear. But notice what this says. Moreover, this was not enough for them, that they erred in the knowledge of the Most High. But whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance, those so great plagues called they peace. Notice that. Mankind is erring greatly when it comes to the knowledge, the wisdom, and the understanding of the Most High Yahweh, who gave them the breath of life. And it says that they are in the great war of ignorance. It is massive ignorance for a fully grown man to want to become a woman, and vice versa, because you have it happening in other realms where the woman wants to be the man. That's a perverse spirit. That is against nature itself. But again, it says that they live in a great war of ignorance. Satan is provoking a major war century after century to keep mankind in ignorance. And because man doesn't want to deal with the Most High's word, they wallow in that ignorance. But notice what it says. It says, so great plagues they called peace. T.Y.H, who clearly was being troubled by an unclean spirit, now feels that he's more happy dressing up as a woman with wigs, makeup, you name it, hormone shots, the whole shebang. He feels that he's the happiest he's ever been in his life. And that's sad. And it just really shows you where we are at today. But let's get another scripture. Let's go to the Epistle of Jude, right before the book of Revelations. And we'll pick it up at the 7th verse. And it reads, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth as an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. I want you to think about that. Sodom and Gomorrah was an ancient city complex made up of 4 to 5 cities that got destroyed by the Most High because of their great evil, from the homosexuality to the adultery, swinging, you name it, was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah, all the way down to the point where they wanted to sleep with the very angels that was sent to bring destruction upon them. They had become perverse greatly. And sadly, the United States of America not only represents ancient Egypt, but also represents Sodom and Gomorrah. And Sodom and Gomorrah was an example. Grass doesn't even grow in that place anymore. But is mankind listening? Nope. Too much pride. And that pride is going to lead to the very destruction of this place, which brings us to our final story. Our final story for today is the United States of America sent warships into the Taiwan Strait.
Two U.S. warships sailed through the sensitive Taiwan Strait on Thursday, drawing protest from Beijing, the second such mission this month, and coming almost 2 weeks after a Chinese aircraft carrier group used the same waterway. 2 U.S. Navy warships plowed through the Taiwan Strait on New Year's Eve, marking the 13th passage of U.S. naval vessels through the strait this year. And
this military exercise, or war game, was conducted to flex the military might of the U.S. in the face of China. But why is this important? Why is this newsworthy news? Simply put, not only is the United States represented in spirit by ancient Egypt, not only is she also representing the conduct and the spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah, she is also Babylon the Great as recorded in scripture. Her flexing her muscle throughout the world, taking in resources, destroying the children of Israel, the so-called black man, woman, and child, taking over the entire planet and breaking it in pieces, has to be paid for, because all of the blood that she has shed, all of the lies that she has put forth, all of the missiles that she has dropped on people, is going to be paid back. But let's get a scripture. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50, and we'll pick it up at verse 31. Let's see what the Most High is saying to this very place and why that news is so important. Verse 31 of Jeremiah 50, it says, behold, I am against you, O you most proud, saith Yahweh of hosts. The Most High, who created all life, is against this very place, and he calls it the most proud. Americans are the most pride-filled people on the face of this planet. They believe that they are better than every nation, and every nation should bow down to them. But the Most High, who sits in the Shamayim, or the heavens, is against them. And it says, for your day is come, the time that I will visit you. That's what she doesn't understand. Eventually, a day is going to come, an hour is going to come, She's going to be visited of the Most High. And verse 32 says, and the most proud shall stumble and fall. America is beginning to stumble. Look at the economic collapse brought on by the pandemic. Look at all the civil unrest that's going on. Eventually, it's going to lead to its fall, as the scripture says. And it says, none shall raise him up, and I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all about him. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts. I want you to think about that term. The Most High of hosts. The Most High Yahweh is the captain and the leader of the entire universe. And he has an angelic host at his disposal at any time. And those armies of heaven are going to come. This is why they're preparing for an invasion from space. It's no coincidence that the United States set up a space program and a space aspect of their military. They're preparing for war, and they know where this war is coming from. But it's nothing they can do. It says, the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all about him. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. And all that took them captives held them, and they refused to let them go. One of the biggest kept secrets that America has under her skirts is that she took the children of Israel, the so-called black man that she snatched from the west coast and interiors of Africa as her slaves, and made them lower class citizens, not realizing we are really the children of the King, the one who gave everybody that walks the face of this earth life. He chose our forefathers, but because of what she done, and because she refuses to let us go, along with all the other evil she's committed, judgment is coming. But let's drop down. Let's drop down to verse 40, and it says, as the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities thereof, says Yahweh, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. Behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and will not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, every one put in array like a man to the battle against you, O daughter of Babylon. As we read here, it says, as the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah, this very same country is going to suffer the very same fate. And when he musters the Russians, the Iranians, known as the Medes, the Chinese, Ishmael, also known as the Arabs, the Most High is going to muster them to the battle, and they're going to bring forth judgment to this place. That's why she's going into the Taiwan Straits and flexing her muscles. She want to let China know, hey, I'm here and I rule. But the fact of the matter is, China is in league with Russia. Russia is in league with the Arab nations. Eventually, it's going to go down. And the Most High is going to bring that judgment that he has purposed for this place because of what she has done. So as we see, we are coming to the end. These news headlines are clearly showing us we are at the final stages of the earth. So it is incumbent upon us to make sure that you are making your calling and election sure before it is too late. But before we close out with this edition of the Take You Heed News broadcast, let's flip this on over to the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12, and we'll close it out with verse 13, and it reads, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. For the Most High shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. Again, looking at the news on a daily basis, which we should do, we are told in the book of Mark chapter 13 and verse 33 to take heed, watch, and pray. Looking at these news situations is showing us we are in the end. Make your calling and election sure. Make sure that you are walking with the Most High and keeping his commandments, developing your spirit into the same image and way that our big brother Hamashiach Yahushua had, whom the world ignorantly calls Christ. Judgment is coming. So take you heed, watch, and pray. I'm your brother and host, Shofar Tamim, and may the Most High be with you and your family. Till next time, Take you heed, watch, and pray. Shalom.
Truth is our dogma. We believe it to be man's greatest weapon against the devil.